This segment of CoastLife is sponsored by the Spice and Tea Exchange of Rehoboth.
It is Thursday, CoastLife, and of course that means we're spilling a little bit of drama, and we've been getting into the coworker drama lately, which I think is very relatable for a lot of us, and I think this is one that people are going to relate to.
It's an easy vein to mine. There's a lot going on there that can have people up in their feelings one way or the other.
But of course, the tea we're drinking is always delicious, and from our friends at the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach. Charlie, what are we drinking?
Today, we've got Peach on the Beach Black Tea. It is a mellow and gently sweet blend of black tea, marigold, and safflower kisik with juicy peach for a touch of fresh fruit flavor. While it is delicious hot, that's how we're going to drink it today, the tea also really shines over ice.
Ooh, I do have to pre-plan one of these days and brew one of these teas iced, so I'll make that my goal for maybe next week. You can hold me to it, CoastLife. So Charlie, why don't you get to spillin', and I too will get to spillin'. Am I wrong for not wanting to cover for my coworker anymore? I, 29, female, work in an office with a small team, and one of my coworkers, 31 male, frequently asks me to cover for him, whether it's finishing reports, answering his emails, or stepping into meetings that he can't make for a variety of reasons. She said at first I didn't mind helping out occasionally, but it's become a regular thing. He always has an excuse, doctor's appointments, errands, family stuff, and our boss doesn't seem to notice because the work still gets done by our writer. I finally told him I couldn't keep picking up his slack and that he needs to manage his own workload. Now he's acting cold toward me, and another coworker told me that he's saying I abandoned the team and made things harder for everyone else. She says I'm still doing my job, pulling my weight. I'm just not doing his anymore. Am I wrong for refusing to cover for my coworker?
So I have a couple thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that she's wrong for not wanting to do a bunch of other work that belongs to somebody else. The fact that he's acting cold towards her, you kind of just have to expect that. You're calling somebody out. There's going to be some...
It's not going to be sunshine and
Yeah,
rainbows.
they're not going to be like, oh, great, I'm super excited you did that. So that part is just something you're going to have to accept when you put up boundaries. That's usually the way that goes. So is what it is on that front. The question I would have, and she says she has a small team, is has this person ever stepped up when she's had an issue? Like if she's had to go out, run an errand, do a thing, because already I'm on her side here.
Sure.
But I'd like to know if there's any quid pro quo here of like, you've taken care of stuff when I've been gone, I'll help you out when you're gone, or if suddenly, real quickly, that person might be like, why aren't you doing your work?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, and I feel like the examples given is that, you know, she didn't mind helping out at first here and there, because I think anytime somebody's like, oh, I have this thing come up, I have a doctor's appointment, something on the schedule, do you mind covering for me? Most of the time people are going to say, no, I got you, go take care of you, take care of your family, and the team is generally happy to step in. However, when it does become a habit, or when you do find you're doing someone else's work most of the time, it definitely leads to a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of resentment, and I think, like you said, you can't expect the sunshine and rainbows when you confront somebody, especially if you kind of get the feeling that they're used to skirting their responsibilities.
Yeah. The other question I have, and you need to have the answer on both of them for this, is this somebody that's, you know, a really high performer? Somebody that is, you know, their skill level is bringing in maybe more stuff to the company or this or that, so they're getting sort of a free pass on stuff, or not? It shouldn't matter either way, but it's why the reaction of the other coworkers makes me go, what's happening there?
Well, it's also interesting because it doesn't necessarily seem that the other coworkers don't not have her back. It seems like they were saying, oh, and he's also saying this about you. So it's hard to say. I do think this is the kind of conversation, though, that like you do need to get your boss roped in on and clued into the fact that somebody isn't doing their part of the work. And unless it officially gets shifted to you or someone else on the team.
Well, in words, specifically because if having to cover for them ends up hurting your work, you don't want the boss to think you're
not
slacking off when actually what you're doing is picking up the slack for somebody else that's slacking off.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a lesson that I think everybody has to learn the hard way. And I feel like 29 sounds like right about the age where you start to learn that lesson a little bit of like, okay, I was the kid, I was the new person that people may have been taking a little bit advantage of, especially if you really excelled in your role, if you excelled in your job. And now it feels like it's time to put your foot down. So I feel like this all sounds like about the right time you go on that road of self-discovery, but it sounds like you might need to get the boss involved in that conversation.
At least have a chat and go like, listen, I don't mind helping out when it's really needed.
Right.
I've been doing that, but this is happening a lot.
All the time.
It's taking away from my own workload, which I don't want to start underperforming for you guys here. I
The
want
job
to do
you
my
hired me
job.
to do.
So can we have a conversation about the way this is going?
Yep. So communicate. It's what it always boils down to. Charlie, I already saw you sipping on your peach
good.
on the beach. How is it?
Well, I've had a couple sips already, so you know it's decent.
Ooh, yeah, that is nice. And I could definitely see that.
I was going to say, I'd like to know what it does taste like over ice.
One of these days, I promise, I'm going to brew an iced tea. We'll see if it's next week or not. But you can get yourself some of this, the Peach on the Beach, or any of the other delicious teas at the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach. I might have taken my mom there over the weekend. You know, it's a great gift spot. But we've got more Coast Life to get to. That's on the way.